A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Night I've been hearing about. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The dungeon labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
When Alex became a god, he thought he would have no problems at all. Until... he landed in the Divine Dimension and was tasked with protecting the entire multiverse.
Am I connected to every single Alex Ambrose that ever existed?
Alex could travel across dimensions, defying the laws of time and space, to help other Alexes throughout the multiverse. But then everything changed.
No! Aw!
I have to go back and save them.
But if Alex went back to the mortal world, he would relinquish all of his power and his memories.
I don't have a choice. I must go back.
When Alex returned back to Earth, he goes back to being your average business tycoon millionaire, unaware that the people he cared most about are in danger.
Someone help me!
Yvonne, what happened?
I was attacked by a monster. Alex? What's going on? Get away from him! He is my boyfriend!
Who attacked Yvonne in the forest? What will Debbie do next? Who will Alex choose between the two women? Will Alex ever remember who he was before traveling into a different multiverse? To hear what happens next and whether Alex can stop the deranged monster before he strikes again, listen to the original audio drama, Insta Millionaire Returns, only on Pocket FM. Download the app now and find out.
Presentation.
The sun is down in Central Florida, and it is just about that time to get rolling here for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series Homestead-Miami Speedway. Lots of new things here tonight. It's an update week ahead of a new season of iRacing officials. It gives us a lot more to talk about and play with here tonight. Ahead of 100 laps here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway, round number 4 of the first season of 2025 for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. Welcome in, as always. It is Tommy Cook. It is Joshua Motichek back alongside partner. Welcome to Florida, home of CNC Home Designs. And welcome to home of one of the best races of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series from last season, if that is even possible to pick some of the better ones out. There are a lot of them. But this is a track that often provides some fantastic racing, and I have a feeling that's what we're in for here this evening.
Yeah, absolutely glad to be back. It's going to be hard to top last week's race. Las Vegas is always a good race. Had some really close battles there in the last 4 laps, but I think if any track is going to beat that, it's going to be here.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at the point standings after last week at Las Vegas. James Lehman on a roll. 3 top 10s in his first 3 races of the season, but 2 of those have been second-place finishes. I mean, really, if you watch Thursday Night Truck Racing at all at any point in the last 3 years here on Turn 200, this top 5 should not surprise you whatsoever. A lot more fluid once you get from about 9th down to even the top 20 that aren't on this graphic. It is very, very tight around the cut line, still with a lot of races left to go here in the regular season.
Yeah, definitely. On the graphic here, inside the top 16, I mean, we're looking at 4 ties in points. It definitely goes to show just how tight some of the racing can get. You know, you look at the top of this graphic, like you said, with your top 5, and no surprises there. But, I mean, you get on down, and it's really close racing. Definitely nothing out of the mix this early in the chase.
Now, an interesting thing is that we have a new lighting model here in iRacing, but the more interesting thing is we're not really going to see much of it here as the lights are already on and the sun is down, unless the sim decides to go backwards here. But Homestead-Miami Speedway, interesting in the fact that it's a true track with 2 straightaways. There's no curvature in either of these straights. And honestly, even though they're of equal length, these 2 turns, and maybe you disagree, they feel completely different from one another. And it always lends itself to some interesting goings-on here at Homestead. As qualifying is wrapping up, we'll get you to the starting grid here for 100 laps around Homestead-Miami Speedway, round number 4 of the season. And the starting lineup will look like this. It is that driver still looking for his first win on the season, James Lehman, 2 second places in a row coming into tonight. Scott Patton, top 3 in the points standings. Wrecked in lap 1, turn 1 here last season. Hopes to avoid a similar fate here tonight. This is a track that is tailor-made for Riley Tilton. Hopefully he can capitalize. With him on his outside is Christopher Howell. Howell, the winner of his first career Max V truck race here last fall. Heath Smith and Rob Haynes on row number 3, Charlie Widener, and the reigning series champion Greg Mull on row 4. Dakota Floyd, podium finisher for the first time in his career last week. He'll start with Matt Monsabolt back in the lineup tonight, starting at 10. Brandon Gruber, Matt Sisler on row number 6. It's Brad Slagle and Mike Milfeld Jr. on row 7. Will Kirk back there in 15th with Johnny Hamby to his outside. Row number 9 is Wally Turheimer and Connell Bolton, the former points leader, starting in 18th. It's Jack Watson, Chris Sargent, your top 20 starters. Rod Minton and Kerry Cleaver on row number 11. It's Mark Jackson and Justin Michael way back there in 24th. Row number 13, the Daytona season opener winner, Billy Bumgardner, next to Matt Rodoloso. Trent Drum, Jordan Neese way back there in 28th. He's been a mover and a shaker here this season. Matt Burkhardt is back tonight, starting in 29th for the first time this season. It's the People's Champ, Bill Paradise, rounding out your top 30. 34 in the starting lineup here today at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Zachary Gruber, Michael Van, Michael Whitlock, and Kyle Kabash, the rest of the running order here. We'll now throw it to Mr. Joshua Motichek, who will give us the lay of the land here at Homestead-Miami Speedway, and what are we expecting for this evening's race?
Yeah, it's going to be pretty similar to last week, being another 100-lap race. We'll get 3 extra sets of tires, no fast repairs as always, so do be sure to keep these trucks clean, though we have seen some comebacks after incidents. There are no incident limits. 70% fuel, just like last week, will put us around lap 35 to 37 for the pit window. 100 lap distance, like I had mentioned earlier, will put the stage break at the end of lap 25. And I'll be honest here, Tommy, I have not made a single lap myself around this track. So as far as tire wear goes and how this truck evolves throughout the night, that one's all yours.
Well, it's interesting because I've had a lot of races here at Homestead-Miami Speedway in various leagues. I can't think of a single good one that I've had, though. This track is difficult for novice drivers. I'll call myself a novice. It's not a super speedway. I don't have a chance in hell of winning a race here. So, I mean, this is an exacting track, and you're going to see some drivers who demand excellence, and they will walk that line right up to the outside wall in both ends of this track. It takes a little bit of touch and a little bit of feel, especially with the track and the oval refresh dictating how these drivers can put the pedal to the metal here. As the green flag is waving, we are racing at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Hoping to make it further than we did last season. Headed into turn number 1, already looking 3 wide. Tilton going to get the door shut on him as Lehman will lead the charge into the first turn.
Yeah, good start for Lehman. Being runner-up, he's got to be out for blood tonight.
Lehman's MO, much like Jeremy McKinnon on Tuesday nights, he will always go as fast as he possibly can, all the time, every single lap.
Yeah, it definitely can pay off. Front view looking to kind of straighten out here. Noticing in practice that side-by-side racing is really kind of sketchy. A lot of drivers were preferring the top in practice, so it's going to be interesting to see how the lines form tonight.
Ooh, one driver up into the wall. I believe that was Brad Slagle. Still a lot of side-by-side here from about third on back. This is Scott Patton under fire from Chris Howell, last season's race winner. I mentioned Patton got wadded up here in turn 1, lap 1 last season, but still kept on trucking with a lot of damage, and I think was running in the top 5 when he got hit with another accident, if I'm remembering correctly. It's already going better for the 46 truck, but for how much longer? Riley Tilton in second right now, and he is 0.6 of a second behind your race leader. That is Lehman. Freddie Gruber may have caught the wall there, heard some scraping into turn number 3, 1.5 miles. Again, perfectly straight straights.
Yeah, I have a slight feeling that hearing trucks scraping the wall won't be a rare occasion tonight. Charlie Widener and Greg Mall are your furthest forward who are too wide. Everything in front of them is single file.
That's Mall, the reigning series champ, on the bottom. Widener up top. Mall, pretty wide corners here, and most of it's usable, especially early on here with Rip is at a premium. Hello to everybody hanging out with us. Of course, Bailey Maria and Robin cheering on our color commentator. Marilyn Beck cheering on Will Kirk, who is moving forward. This is Kirk in the 9 truck here, up 3 spots from where he started, lingering just outside of the top 10. JK Gaming, Mr. John K. himself, gracing us with his presence here this evening. Welcome, welcome.
Greg Mall's going. Oh, looks like he got a little loose off the corner.
Maybe so.
Hang on to it. I was just about to say he was looking to go underneath Dakota Floyd, but now he's going to be put under fire from Charlie Widener.
Charging Charlie, not charging right now, down 2 from where he took the green flag, running in 9th. They're still pretty stacked up behind him, side by side. That's Kirk down low. Connell Bolton is on the move. He is up 5 spots, looking to make it +6. Adrian Marquez in the chat, cheering on Riley Tilton. Tilton right now running in second, half a second behind James Lehman up front. Dakota Floyd running in P7. At Gorilla Glue number 57. With the 7 of Greg Mall behind him, the reigning series champ. Drifted up the track, really using up these right side tires, chasing the stage here at lap 25. I mean, even for a high deck track like Homestead, a 25 lap is a pretty short run. How do you feel about pushing hard here, just 8 laps into it?
Yeah, I definitely think that 25 lap stint is definitely a charge hard kind of racing. Surprised we haven't seen a few more aggressive moves like we did last week.
One driver that's charging hard after starting all the way back in 24th, last week's race winner, Justin Michael, up 9 spots now into the top 15.
Yeah, Justin Michael definitely put the fastest lap in practice, so he's going to be on the move without a doubt.
Here's a peek back at Michael. He's got Bolton and Sisler right ahead of him after getting past Ron Mitten. Give a call out to Brandon Groover, running not quite the Reddick Larson line, but right up to the top side. Thanks, Lance. Yeah, we'll be sure to let Chris know. He's riding back at 23rd right now.
Gap to the lead is still about half a second. Tilton is starting to make slight ground. Tilton now running way up towards the wall.
I think
Scott Patton about half a second back from him.
it's interesting that we're up there already. That's more usually of a late race evolution. We are taking advantage of it early. It's Tilton. I mean, he is
On the wall.
sparks, yeah. But still making great ground. He's down to 4/10.
Looking a little more like dirt tracking now here.
That's a sea foam green cushion like there is at every dirt track. Just ram that baby off the wall. There's Sarah, as always, cheering on Riley. Like I said, Riley is, as much as James Lehman is pedal to the metal and no cares given, that can often describe Riley Tilton's style of driving as well. Lehman with one victory and a lot of close calls, and Tilton with no victories and a lot of close calls.
Yeah, definitely. Tilton, showing similar, if not the same pace as last week. Being second and running down Justin Michael through most of the first stage. Can't help but to think that he's definitely as well looking for some redemption after being involved in an incident last week.
Justin Michael has stayed put in 14th. He's still got a lot of side-by-side traffic ahead of him. That is Kirk and Sisler. Sisler drifting up the track and will just clear Will Kirk there to take over the 12th position for him to get right back to where he started this race. Shout out to Shelley, cheering on Greg. Greg still riding in 8th. Now has some separation back to Widener, who's gotten through on Brandon Groover.
The top 5 are all pretty similar to how they started. Starting to get a little bit more strung out now. A gap up to 0.6 of a second, and then almost a second from Tilton back to Patton.
Here's Matthew Montemont right up on the wall with Sisler underneath the 93, trying to move forward. Dragging Will Kirk and Justin Michael along with him. 11 laps away from the stage break here. Michael creeping closer to some points. Came into tonight one behind James Lehman in the chase standings. Of course, that puts him well above the cut line with 12 races to go, including this one here tonight, until we re-rack the top 12 in the standings. Always good to have it in the back of your mind, especially for one of those drivers that was on the right side of the page there. All of them 14 points or less above the cut line. That can that cushion can go away in a hurry.
Yeah, it definitely can. One foul race, and you could be looking at 3 or 4 spots away from that cut line.
We are tightening up here from Heath Smith on back. Smith, Haynes, and Floyd. And now Floyd going to go side by side with Rob Haynes, and he will take that spot away with ease. So the 57 podium finisher last week for the first time in his CNC Home Designs Truck Series career. Now up to 6th, and he is +3 from the drop of the green. Just 17 laps to go. So Floyd is putting in a good stint once again. Well, tell me if this sounds familiar. Floyd and James Lehman, friends in real life, co-workers.
Definitely sounds familiar. Brandon Groover going to work on Greg Mall now. Mall having moved to the top following Widener.
Groover's been doing a lot of yo-yoing here as they're side-by-side. Smith and Howell were just side-by-side for 4th, as Howell dropped into this battle right quick. So Smith will advance now up to P4. Lehman with a pretty comfortable lead now, 0.8 of a second as they run. Tilton in second, Patton in third, and this is fourth on back right here. Smith, Howell, Floyd, and Rob Haynes now fading away. And Floyd will take another one. Put him into the top 5. Howell back to 6th.
Floyd is definitely looking for the points after last night.
Definitely. A little bit further back, here's Sisseler. Side-by-side block A. Justin Michael made it up to 14th, and he has held serve there for about the last 6 or 7 laps. You'll size up Will Kirk now for 13th, but they are all side-by-side in front of him. Mall and Groover. It's Brandon Groover. And Sisseler and Montalban side-by-side, and these drivers are either just inside or just outside of the points here, coming up in 5 laps time at the stripe.
Justin Michael going to clear Kirk now. Put him into 13th.
Got 5 laps to make up 3 spots for 1 point. That's a lot of work for 1 point.
Could be the 1 point he'll need at the end of the season, though.
Maybe so. Stranger things have happened, but that would be pretty strange.
True.
Montalban, I think, has been to all the even number races here this season, rounds 2 and 4, up in front of Mall, and put him now into the points. We'll head back up into 4th now as these two have caught Scott Patton, but Floyd is going to move past Heath Smith. So move Dakota Floyd now up to 4th, potentially a stage podium right in his sights.
That being said, with coming up on 3 to go, Patton is going to be one that's hard to get around. Patton seems to be very good at defending.
Yes, indeed, and he hasn't really had to do much on this run, so defense should be able to pull it off, or at least have a good fight. As Montalban and Sisseler going at it behind, here is Floyd now inside of a truck length behind the 46 of Patton, looking for 3rd. And as much as Scott has not been doing much here this stage, Floyd has been on the button. He is moving and shaking. And now, you just saw it in front of them with 2 to go in the stage. Riley Tilton has caught James Lehman to a truck length as well. Let's watch the pass here for 3rd, and then we'll run back up to the top of the running order. As Floyd is going to get clear. Not much of a fight there from Scott Patton, so move the 57 up to 3rd. Coming to 1 to go here in the stage. And Lehman and Tilton going to be going at it here. Oh, and that is Tilton up into the wall, and Lehman is in the wall. Like I said, they're both pushing every lap, every corner. That just proves it. But that
Drop the gap back about 3/10 from what it was.
Yes, indeed.
Not sure if Tilton's going to have the run that he needs to take this stage win.
Lots of battling further back, right to the stage point cut line. That's Sisseler nearly coming up into the 21 of Montalban as Riley Tilton
into the wall.
Haynes goes into the wall. Tilton giving it one last run here. To the green and white checkers we go, and it is James Lehman with the stage win here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Riley Tilton, Dakota Floyd, Scott Patton, Heath Smith, the top 5. Chris Howell in 6, Charlie Widener, Brandon Groover, Rob Haynes will survive, and Greg Mull with the last point. Justin Michael, a fantastic early drive to get himself up to 15th, but once he got up to 15th in about 10 laps, in the next 15 laps, he only made up 2 more spots. So, we know Justin Michael has speed, of course. He nearly won this race last year. He's got the most wins in max speed post-revival. I mean, I'm sure making your first pit stop, even under yellow from 13th, is not exactly where this 87 truck wants to be. I mean, what kind of a hole is he going to have to dig out of here?
Yeah, probably. Honestly, I'm thinking not too deep of a hole. He's going to have another pit cycle to go through at the very least, too. But if he can make it work and not wear his tires as much as he did, I feel, in this first stint, he may be able to make something happen to end up inside the top 10 and get some good points on the board.
So
Greg Mall might have missed his pit stall and had to back up.
Well, that's no good.
Have a lot of experience doing that.
Race off. I think Lehman gets it, but it may have been Scott Patton. Awfully close either way. Patton leads him on the exit lane nonetheless, because you don't want to try and pass down there. And there goes Lehman. So Lehman by a whisker. Patton out second. Dakota Floyd honestly was right there as well. Thankfully, those trucks are invisible until you get past a certain distance. Otherwise, all three of them would have been wrecked there going for the exact same track positioning. Riley Tilton will lose 2 spots here, drop to 4th. Heath Smith will come out 5th. Howell, Widener, Brandon Groover, Matt Montebalt, now Rob Haynes in 10th, and Justin Michael makes up 2 spots, I believe anyway, to move up to 11th, unless he's letting Connell Bolton by, which I don't think he is. 2 drivers back down pit road. It's your Daytona winner, Billy Bumgardner, and your Atlanta winner, Greg Mall, the reigning series champ. Trent Drum also will follow them in. So 3 drivers packing in 1 extra lap of fuel here with 70% fuel capacity. It may come down to the final lap here with how the cautions shake out, or maybe even the lack of cautions. I mean, an extra lap of fuel isn't going to kill you.
No, it's definitely not. I always tend to run a little fuel heavy, just in case of those awkward situations where you have a few green-white checkers. But if it comes down to it, they will definitely be the ones to benefit from not having to pit and get that extra little bit of fuel.
The flip side of that is that Mall was going to restart, I think, just outside of the top 10, but inside the top 15. So he's going to give up a lot of track position. All 34 drivers that started this race are still on the track. So Mall with a Justin Michael workload ahead of him here to have to pass a lot of trucks. That is something he is definitely more than capable of doing. So we'll see what awaits this field as we come to our first restart of the race, and it's our only scheduled caution. We could go green the rest of the way. Lap 29 on the board, Lehman in control. And honestly, not a great restart from anybody behind him. Patton will move right down onto the front grille of the 57 of Dakota Floyd.
Yeah, Patton making sure he gets that position. I think track positioning makes a lot of difference here. Tilton is scraping the wall yet again.
Tilton was up in the wall. Bolton was up in the wall as well, just outside of the top 10. But Tilton again knows how to run this top side. He's awfully fast. He's flirting with it again.
Charlie Widener was all over the place.
Like he may have gotten in the wall on exit as well. As Floyd and Tilton still side by side. Tilton will slide in line right behind.
Rob Haynes was slow down the backstretch. I think he might have gotten loose coming off. He's going to drop 2 positions again that he had just gained to Motichek and Kirk.
Widener looking down low to take the spot away from Brandon Groover. That would get the 95 up into the top 10 again. Oh man, a couple trucks close to the wall there. This is the first time we've seen Jordan Neeson in the mix tonight. He's up to 13th with Justin Michael right in front of him. Michael back 1 from the drop of the green on lap 29. But that's not really that surprising if you're expecting the long run. Michael knows how to get the most out of these tires, so he's more than likely just lying in wait. Hoping that Neese will get through cleanly here on the top side.
Yeah, I think Justin Michael has a decent advantage after the moves he made in that first stint, knowing exactly how far he can push those tires through traffic. Might give him a little bit more knowledge than the rest of these drivers have on the tire wear.
We'll hope for his sake that he wants to be running the bottom right now because Jordan Neese has not given him much of a choice. Michael drifted up the track. Rod Mitten. Jack Watts also into the mix here. Johnny Hamby, first time we get to call out his name tonight. He's into the top 15. Things tightening up for 7th on back. Montalban in the 21, Kirk in the 9, and Rob Haynes again up into the 199, close to the wall.
This wall really is. We have a caution.
Oh, trouble. And it's Connell Bolton who was running inside the top 15. He is nestled up to the inside wall. Some front end damage on this 32 truck. Came into last week's race as the points leader. Still above the cut line after a early exit last week, and hopefully not an early exit here tonight. But there's certainly some damage on the front of this truck.
Looks like Michael Whitlock also involved in that incident.
Let's take a look here. This is Bolton up on the top side, as that is Whitlock that came up right in front of him, packs the air on the rear spoiler of the 33, takes the nose off the air of the 32, and they both go bounding to this inside wall, and those are 2 hard shots right there.
Definitely not the angle you want to hit the wall if you have to hit it.
We'll go Matt Williamson style kickpot cam. See how just as soon as he does that, we were already talking about the loose condition taking over these trucks anyway, but then that brings aerodynamic manipulation into it, and that was not ideal for either of those gentlemen. Michael Whitlock, though, he's had some struggles here this season, but that was a battle that's for position fairly high in the running order there, so that was exciting for him, but unfortunately that is come to an end. That will bring multiple drivers down pit road, the highest of which was Matt Sisseler in the running order in the 93 truck. Jack Watts, Matt Rodolasso, Mark Jackson, Chris Sargent, Kerry Cleaver, Bill Paradise, Trent Drum, Kyle Kabash, Billy Bumgardner back down pit road, Michael Van, and of course Bolton and Whitlock involved in the accident there. Well, we think the fuel window is right around the number that's on the board right now, lap 35. And that should move these drivers into a one-stop race if that does hold to be true, but not a lot of takers here this time. Is that surprising?
It depends on where you are on track, I think. It's really a hard call. It's one of those that you kind of have to teeter the line on and go with your gut. Again, having not turned laps, I'm not even sure what I would choose personally. But for the drivers who did not come in, 35 lap fuel window should put them around lap 60. So definitely is going to put them offset from these other drivers that came in.
You know, being offset, not the worst idea in the world sometimes, especially at a kind of a wonky track like Homestead-Miami Speedway. We talk about its simplicity, but the simplicity of it is that it is a tire eater, and that's it may give you a one-track mind, but not one that you particularly want to have to deal with here. Even with some fairly nice track temperature, we saw it earlier in the night. The track temperature was hovering around, I think it was 87 degrees. Now it's fallen down to 81, so it is cool track here, but we're still seeing these drivers step it out.
Yeah, personally, as a driver, I much prefer a tight truck than a loose truck, so definitely working the wheel here coming off the corners. We've seen a few drivers getting loose and saving it.
Well, that pace truck driver just pulled a Kyle Larson and hit the sand barrels. Luckily, they're not breaking, so we're still green on lap 37. Lots of shuffling there right around Charlie Widener in 12th. As they are 3 wide. Gets shuffled out, but a lot of side-by-side back in the pack. Top 5 have got it figured out. Howell and Kirk side by side as we've got one loose. It's Matt Montenbalt on the bottom of 4 wide there momentarily. more problems in the back of the pack, and Connell Bolton is just towed back to the pits. Look at this grouping here. Howell, Kirk, Smith, Groover, Jordan Neese. Whoa, Neese loses the nose of that truck and pushes it straight up to the outside wall. He's going to keep it out. I don't know how.
Yeah, the aerodynamics on these trucks, you get real close and you just lose all control of the car and it just darts to the wall.
Smith down to defend in front of Kirk. As Kirk will slide it up and nearly pays for it there. That was almost a disaster.
Neese definitely being very aggressive here, just like we saw him running at Daytona with the aggressive bumps. Definitely trying to make up the ground that he wants.
Haynes, Groover, Widener all right together here. Rod Mitten now going to throw his hat into the ring. Half a second for the lead right now. Lehman leading Tilton. Patton in third. Go to Floyd and Chris Howell running in the top 5. Howell under fire from Heath Smith. There's Neese, Kirk. Ooh, another tight slider there from Rob Haynes up in front of Brandon Groover. It's for the final spot in the top 10. Justin Michael still just chilling back here in 14th.
After watching what he's got in front of him, not sure he wants to move any further forward yet.
Would you?
Probably not. Lots of slicing and dicing.
Especially if you know you've got the long run speed, like Justin Michael absolutely knows that he's got that on lock at pretty much every track that we go to, but especially this one. Why push the issue if you don't have to? I'll tell you what, though, they are stacked up behind him. There's Mike Milfelt, Johnny Hamby, Zachary Groover, Matt Burkhart, all right here, and Greg Mall, who has already made up some decent track position after
3 wide.
Coming in for an extra lap of fuel under the second caution of the night. Or under the first caution of the night, rather. Neese and Kirk, I think, finally going to get uncoupled from one another, and Neese will take the 7th position. See how long he hangs on to it, though, because he wants P6 from Heath Smith. And Neese is on the Larson line, right up to the wall. We're pretty close to it anyway. Close enough.
Now, from your experience racing this track, what line wears tires the most here? Because I'm seeing 3 distinct lines, a bottom, middle, and a top.
I like to go with the Matt Williamson strategy here and start low and finish high. Unfortunately, Matt and I have never run well here, but I think that at least gives you the best shot if you're not some total ace, like a lot of these drivers in Max V are. You know what you're doing. You kind of have freedom to roam, which is awesome. A track like Homestead-Miami can definitely provide that. But if you're looking for a rock-solid option, I like what Chris Howell's doing here. And he knows how to win here. Running the bottom of the track. I think eventually if we get another 15 laps into this run or so, he will migrate to the top side. Boy, Tilton is, I can hear him up here watching the mid-pack battles. Hear him getting into the wall. He's now lost 9/10 of a second to the race leader, James Lehman, who is yet to be challenged so far today. Patton running in third, getting closer. Floyd with a train behind him. Howell, Smith, Neese, and Kirk. A little bit of space back to Charlie Widener, Rob Haynes, Ron Mitten, Brad Slagle, Brandon Groover, and Justin Michael. Michael now started to try to move forward here. He'll look down low on the 41 of Big Roof. one. Can he get his teammate, Slagle? Not going to be clear. Make it clear this time, however. And indeed he will.
We're going to look underneath Slagle now. Looked like Slagle might have gotten a little tight through 3 and 4 that last round. Michael going to clear Mitten as well. Looks like Justin Michael's starting to turn the heat on now.
Just a bit. Restarted initially after the stage on lap 29. We've had one caution in the mix there. You have to roll out of the throttle just a little bit. Michael going for a move here on his teammate, Rob Haynes. Got a nose out ahead, looking to clear up, and he definitely will. Rob lets him through. Let's head back to the front here. Riley Tilton under fire from Scott Patton. Patton tucks right in behind Tilton there. Trying to make it stick here, down low. Puts the power down, slides up. Throwing some dirty air onto Tilton, who will scrape the wall there, and Patton is up to second after restarting in second. Now he's got 1.4 seconds up to James Lehman, but I don't think Riley Tilton or Dakota Floyd are done with him yet. Floyd had great medium run pace there, especially having to pass a bunch of trucks. He has not had to do that since the restarts, or since the stage break, rather.
And he's going for it.
Why not?
He knew where he was last week, and he knows he wants to be back.
Plenty of battling here, just outside of the top 10. Milfelt, Slagle, both groovers making moves. But Dakota Floyd looking to get back up to third, where he finished the stage and where he finished last week. Tilton will look down low, try and cross him up. Floyd keeping him boxed in there down low, and Tilton is drifted up the track. A little contact with the quarter panel. Nothing that a little Gorilla Glue can't handle. At least they didn't stick together. We'll go further back, and what do you know? It's Jordan East and Will Kirk battling here for 7th. And now Justin Michael into the mix.
Watching these two side by side, I have been in that position. It's hard to choose where you need to be, but I think he's going to throw it 3 wide. And he is.
Going to take it up the middle. Kirk and Nice all around him. A lot of wheel there to keep it out of the side of that 12 truck. Michael gets one. Can he take the second here? This will move him up to P7. And Nice up into the wall.
And he's going to get through clean. Nice is going to have a run off of the top.
And Riley Tilton's starting to drop through the field here just a bit. Here's Howell and Smith right together. This is not too far ahead of Justin Michael. This is 4th, 5th, and 6th all together.
Tilton once again throwing sparks into the corner.
Howell keeps looking, can't make it stick yet, and luckily for him, Heath Smith hadn't filled that hole up top. He's able to slot back in, try and find a way through here on Tilton. It's a 1.2 second lead for Scott Patton, or rather for James Lehman over Scott Patton, but he and Dakota Floyd are both catching him. Floyd is applying the pressure here to Patton. I can't wait for the day that you and Austin Holyfield are racing each other for a win somewhere and have to decide who's going to come out on top. But this will, I think, Floyd v. Lehman here tonight is going to be a close second to that. I'm excited to see how it plays out.
Yeah, that being said, Patton has been in this position a few times this season where he's run inside the top 3 most of the race and just haven't been able to make it stick. So I definitely wouldn't count him out for that battle for the lead either.
I don't want to say anything about his luck because my first announcer jinx of 2025 goes to Scott Patton, unfortunately, Monday Night Truck 200. But Patton is really keeping this 57 on the bottom of the track. He will slide up. Floyd sticking right with him, though. Nose by nose at the stripe. Lap 58 is up on the board. Pit stops not too far away for these drivers. Sometime in the next 10 laps, we'll expect everybody did not come down pit road to get maybe their final service of the race. We'll have to see. But Floyd now 1 second behind James Lehman.
It's going to be cutting it close on fuel. A 35 stint and a 35 stint only puts you at lap 95. So it's definitely going to be a fuel save here at the end if we do go through green flag pit cycles.
Sir Lance Bone here. Here's Chris Sargent running back in 26. He's got plenty of drivers that are all around him there. And some drivers that are still doing a lot of side-by-side battling. Who's to say that we're not done with cautions yet? As this is Haynes and Floyd and Zachary Gruber up into the wall. Burkhardt, Slagle all right there together as well. I mean, this is still a bit of a powder keg outside of the top 10.
Justin Michael made it through on Heath Smith. It's going to put him 6th, chasing down the top 5.
And there was Tilton again. Little rub of the wall out of turn number 2.
I would say I'd like to buy that right rear quarter panel, but I'm not sure there would be much left of it to buy.
Oh, definitely not the door. And Howell doesn't get a good run either. He wiggles. He scrapes the wall as well. Jordan Neese is coming down pit road from inside the top 10, so pit cycle is underway. And I definitely don't think he'll be good to make it to the end on fuel.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that those few drivers that pitted underneath our first and only official caution might have been the play here if we do go green to the end.
Howell, woo, slider, and the 58 sends it right to the tailgate, and now Justin Michael looking to make it bad to worse for Riley Tilton. Neese's service is complete. Michael with a slider takes the air off the 58. He'll try for the crossover. Lehman's lead now only 3/4 of a second. Dakota Floyd is reeling in the race leader, who has been uncontested thus far this evening.
This battle here for 3rd is going to tag along Heath Smith as well. Or for 4th, rather.
Well, it's about to be for 3rd, I think. Patton is in the shot here. And you're right, Heath Smith is definitely tagging along. Will Kirk is not too far behind. Although I'm sure his focus now is putting in good laps, hoping that Neese didn't just pull a death blow undercut on the 9 truck here. But so far, Neese has been the only driver that's come down pit road.
Yeah, it could be a tire strategy play more than a fuel strategy play for that pit. Get out into clean air and just make some good laps. Smith looking underneath Tilton. He's going to dive it in hard. Chilton gets a good run off the top and should secure this position back. They have lost a little bit of ground to Michael and Howell. Dakota Floyd now looking inside half a second on James Lehman for the lead. As we get the pit road call for James Lehman, he's going to come in this lap.
This is a sneaky, difficult pit road, but Lehman makes it look pretty easy. One of the best saves we've ever seen here on the channel was Corey Rutherford not wipe it out under a green flag pit cycle here. It's easy to do. Lehman not the only one. Riley Tilton, Heath Smith, Brandon Groover, Jack Watts, Matt Munsabalt, Rob Haynes, Johnny Hamby, Wally Terheimer, Zachary Groover, all in this time.
Dakota Floyd in. Patton, ooh. And Patton's going to lose it.
No! Patton into the wall! Oh my gosh.
That's unfortunate.
Matt Burkhart, yeah, that'll be enough damage to more than likely take him out of the race. As Slagle, there's no way he was not speeding. Unfortunately, that will take him out of the running. Kyle K-Bash coming in. Well managed for him. Ooh. Truck damage model of late has not been very kind. That is going to be more damage than it needs to be when there really didn't need to be any damage at all.
Justin Michael in this lap.
Michael aggressive as always, but a pretty clean entry. Mike Milfelt, Greg Mall coming in now. So that puts Billy Baumgartner up at the front of this field. Matt Rodolasso, Matt Sisler, Mark Jackson, Michael Van. That's a lot of M's in the top 5. The People's Champ running in P6. That's Bell Paradise. And Jordan Neese is the race leader for now on the pit cycle, or will be the race leader off the pit cycle. But here is James Lehman on a few lap fresher tires here. I think make the difference 5 laps. As they will pull ahead of everybody that is on pit road right now. Dakota Floyd up to James Lehman, who will reassume the provisional lead. Again, that is for 7th, as the top 6 have yet to make a stop. So we are closer to the pit window, but I think maybe still outside of it. What's the word?
Yeah, it's going to be a close one. I know that for sure. I think drivers like Justin Michael, who waited till the last possible second, might have the advantage, not have to fuel save quite as much. Fuel saving on a 1.5 miles can be difficult to still be quick.
So very interesting. Scott Patton is foregone any damage repair that he would have. And he's got Heath Smith right behind him. Visibly, looks like there's some scraping. That tire donut is part of the paint, so that doesn't change anything. But Smith is looking to get around him here. I would say definitely some damage on this 46 truck, whether it appears that way or not. Michael Van is coming down pit road. And Michael Whitlock will come down as well. Here's Bill Paradise. So that will leave approximately the top 4 still on the track. Billy Baumgartner, Matt Rodolasso, Matt Sisler, and Mark Jackson. Jordan Neese up into the wall. That's going to allow Dakota Floyd to get through. Again, provisionally, this is for 2nd, but currently it is for 6th. And Floyd now with almost 2 seconds. All that work that he just did to track down James Lehman. Lehman beats him to pit road by 1 lap, and it opens it up by nearly 2 seconds. It's a 2 3/4 as they run here on lap 72.
Yeah, the undercut usually works out better than the overcut at most tracks. Definitely proving to be true here. Jordan Neese provisionally 3rd, but is moving backwards rather quickly on several lap older tires, showing about 6 laps older.
I think the thing that James Lehman and company are going to like about this long green flag run is it puts enough separation between them and Justin Michael. Maybe they won't have to worry about him. Oh, never mind. Here's a caution. He's right back in it. That was absolutely not what they needed. I think it was Michael Whitlock again, and indeed he is spinning the wheels in the middle of the track, and now we'll tow back to the pits. So that is another one on the 33, unfortunately, although first one just involved him. We'll see what happens regardless. As we just saw him coming down pit road. So these are fresh tires right there in front of Heath Smith, and oh my goodness. Hits those static sand barrels. Somebody tail whips him there. And I'm not 100% sure who that was. It might have been Will Kirk, though.
Will Kirk.
Oh my gosh. You talk about guys with rotten luck. Will Kirk can't buy a break.
That's season 8 Venom Ryan Dye look right there.
Just about. That's what it feels like every week. Something, I mean, frankly, stupid happens to Will Kirk. I mean, 9 times out of 10, it's not his own doing. We'll ride with Kirk here to show you what he sees. So the caution is out. You hear Kirk nod on the button. Whitlock. And, of course, this isn't even Will Kirk, the person that I clicked on. Okay, so that was nothing. 1 second. We'll try this again. Here's Will Kirk. Now we'll go on to the cockpit. There's Whitlock. Looks slow. He's got a less than a truck width to work with up high and made the decision a split second too late, and down into the side he goes. You can kind of see the vibration there, and of course can't hold a line there. Something is massively broken here in the 9 truck.
Yeah, that right front tire is not looking straight ahead, that's for sure.
That sucks. Will Kirk was having a good night here tonight inside the top 10. But oh well, I guess.
I guess that's racing, isn't it?
Unfortunately, it is. Well, I think anybody that was close on fuel is good now one way or another. Jordan Neese was the one we were really questioning. He came back down pit road, so he's now back to 19th in the running order. But everybody that may have been a lap or two on the fringe, this is fuel save to the max.
Yep. I would not be surprised if Jordan Neese also took a set of tires here to try and gain as much time as he can on this last run.
Scott Patton favoring the track position here. I think we'll see the extent of the damage here on the 46, depending on how this restart goes. If he really starts to tumble through the running order, we know it's pretty bad. But he definitely needed this one to go green to save as many positions as possible, if indeed that truck is pretty damaged.
And don't look now, Justin Michael will restart 6th on the grid.
Boy, I really queued that one up, didn't I? It's been all James Lehman here tonight, but Dakota Floyd has been the fastest truck on the track of late on the restart, though. The 50 pulls ahead of the 57, and Floyd is stacking them up with Heath Smith. Look at this, 3 wide. There goes Justin Michael up top to try and get around Patton.
Patton definitely has significant... Wow, Neese into the wall.
Neese into the wall, and Michael run down low, trying to get around the 40 or the 58 of Riley Tilton. Now will nearly come up into the door of Floyd.
Tilton going to come back 3 wide.
Yeah, Michael nearly getting pinballed around here as he's got about a truck width to operate with.
Tilton is going to back out. We're going to be almost 3 wide behind them.
Michael slides up in front of Floyd. Floyd looking for a crossover, but he's got nowhere to go as Tilton is underneath. Now will clear the 58. Get a helping hand to come back at the 87 of Justin Michael.
Smith and Lehman definitely enjoying seeing them battling for third.
Yeah, keep it up for as long as possible. Unfortunately, I think it's over. And Smith is now right in the crosshairs of Justin Michael, who started 24th in this race. He has been scratching and clawing his way up through this field. Looked to be out of reach without our third caution of the evening, and right on cue. 25-lap shootout here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Lehman leading. Here's Tilton coming back underneath of Floyd for spot number 4. Charlie Weiner trying to get around Scott Patton. May have made a little contact there with the wall, but still has the run. As Tilton, half lane up, right onto the door of the 57.
Dakota Floyd has been very good at being on the outside, but keeping it right at the door of the car inside of him. Not giving up any room that is not necessary. And he's going to make it stick.
He survives for now. Still quite the scrum further back here. Ball on the outside of 3 wide. That is Sisler and Montembolt underneath. And Sisler now going to put the squeeze on the 21 and the 7. This is for a spot in the top 10. Here's Scott Patton just ahead of them. Still going backwards here with the damage on the front of that truck.
Ball's going to go to the outside of Patton.
Ah, what a helpless feeling.
3 for 1 for Greg Mall.
Wow. Yeah, not helpless for him. He feels like Superman up on the top side of this track. He's up to 8th.
Looks like Montembolt's going to try and follow him around the top of Groover and Patton.
There's Jack Watts. Patton dives for a hole up top, makes it in. Will hit the wall again for good measure. Tightening up for second, tightening up for the lead. 3 tenths now back to Smith, another 10th and a half back to Michael. Talking truck lengths here, inside of 20 to go.
Yeah, Justin Michael definitely wants to be back on that top step.
You talk about the frustrations of James Lehman of late. You were a part of one of those at Myrtle Beach. Led the majority of that race, gave it up in just a few laps to go on a Monday night. Think of all the second places he's had recently here. He has absolutely spanked this field here tonight, but he's not been infallible. For it to all come crumbling down late in the race here again, when is Lehman going to say enough is enough and start to take matters into his own hands here? Hopefully he won't have to. We'll see how hard Smith and Michael get to battle in here behind him, but that is got to be frustrating to obviously be very fast, lead a bunch of laps, and come up with a big goose egg thus far in 2025 on the channel, save for a Bristol dirt race in the special stage truck series. And there is no help in that situation whatsoever from Heath Smith, as Michael very easily moves up to P2.
Yeah, that's definitely not what Lehman wanted. Ideally, they would have fought a lot longer than that, putting us at 15 to go. Dakota Floyd is now almost caught up with this group of 2.
And maybe this is who Justin Michael needs to be worried about. Floyd has not had spectacular short run speed, but he's been able to keep up at least. I mean, once we get 15 laps into a run or so, that is when he starts to take off, and that'd be about 5 laps from now. So Michael will be hoping... Oh, go ahead.
I definitely think that is part of Dakota Floyd's strength, both last week and this week, is getting those green flag runs in. Tilton, on the other hand, riding behind him in 5th, has had rather the opposite luck. Good at the beginning on the short run and slowly works his way backwards. Definitely not what Tilton wants.
Howell and Sisler side by side for 7th, or rather for 6th, and Matt will take the spot away from your defending Homestead winner. Lehman feeling the pressure here. Last week's race winner, the winningest max speed driver, Justin Michael. Inside of 2 truck lengths behind his teammate. Floyd closing in here on Heath Smith. A similar gap between the battles for 1st and the battles for 3rd.
Yeah, pretty stretched out from there on back at the moment. Looks like the gap between 2nd and 3rd is now opening up a bit, but the gap between 1st and 2nd, Lehman to Michael, is closing.
Closing pretty quick here. We'll ride on board with your 2nd place runner, Michael, looking for 2 in a row. Oh, scrapes the wall right at start finish. They have been in all 3 lanes. Talk about the versatility of these drivers, but also the versatility of this track. And Lehman right now doesn't have an answer. Looks a little tight in the center, pushing right up to the wall here in turn 4. Hoping for any sort of arrow wash to lead this 87 up into the wall.
Dakota Floyd is going to get clear on Heath Smith and pull him into 3rd. With looking at 10 laps to go, can Dakota Floyd make his way up to that top 2?
He's got 0.7 of a second to clear. 10 to go at the stripe.
Justin Michael within a truck length.
I mean, if ever there was a time to hit the intimidate button, this is it. There's no sight more sore for James Lehman than this 87 pulling up onto the tailgate.
Making that truck look very big in the 50s rearview mirror, that is for sure.
Tell you what, he's already cut 1/4 of a second out of it. 1/2 a second, Floyd, up to Michael. Can he continue?
And Matt Sisler is now clear of Heath Smith. Smith down 2 spots and under fire from Tilton.
What a great run for the 93 truck here tonight, and he may not be done either. He is catching the 57 just as quickly as Floyd is catching Michael. Top 4, wouldn't call it under a blanket, but who has a blanket in Central Florida anyway? There's Matt Schlosser in the chat. Go ahead.
This winter, you might have needed a blanket in Central
That's
Florida.
a good point, actually. 8 to go. Lehman has him covered for now. But things can change oh so quick. Michael now, some separation. Back to outside of a truck length. Floyd continuing to close. Sisler continuing to close. He's the fastest of the 4. This 93 truck can really make something happen here late in the going.
Sisler right on the bumper of Dakota Floyd now.
Might be on my gravestone at this point. It's one thing to catch, it's another thing to pass. But the 93 has got the pace to do both. Can he get it done?
Underneath Floyd into turn 3. Floyd scraping the wall. We know that Dakota Floyd has been a masterclass at protecting that bottom. Floyd into the wall.
He certainly got the 93 off sequence a little bit. You can see maybe cranking a little rear brake in there. Back into the truck, yawing out on this 93. But he's still got the run. 6 to go. Tantalizingly close. Sisler can see the leaders, but can't make the pass stick to take 3rd away.
This top four is now almost 2 seconds ahead of fifth, which is Heath Smith.
Oh, Michael!
Just Michael into the wall.
And Lehman tagged the wall there as well. Here's Sisler with another look on Floyd. Floyd's got to run, but he's got nowhere to take it. Michael down low to defend. Lehman defending. The move on Michael. Michael defending a move on two drivers side by side behind him. Sisler wants a podium bad. Coming to 4 laps to go.
Dakota Floyd is going to have the draft down the backstretch. It's going to help him into the corner. Still even.
Michael backing up here. 4 to go. 6 more miles of this.
This is exactly what James Lehman wants to see coming to 3 to go.
Sisler's clear.
And I have a feeling he is not going to be content with just third.
Why would you be? If you've got the pace, make the moves. Sisler starts middle. Going to try and run down low. Michael struggling with the handle on this truck. 3 to go.
Justin Michael going higher than we have seen him.
Sisler looking to slide up. He's got second.
Dakota Floyd not done. Now firing at Justin Michael. Justin Michael going to have the draft.
Sisler now throwing the air on the front of this 57, trying to keep them both occupied. He's got 3 miles to try and track down James Lehman. Lehman out to a 0.3 of a second lead.
Sisler came in a hurry, and he is not stopping here. Justin Michael is going to fall to the clutches of Dakota Floyd for third. Almost clear.
Sisler gaining inch by inch, but still 0.3 of a second. Lehman hoping to see the white flag.
Justin Michael into the wall. That's going to give Dakota Floyd solid position.
This race is official, and Sisler is closing. Just a couple truck lengths. Maybe 1 lap too late if Lehman could execute.
It's going to take everything Sisler has here through 3 and 4.
What can Matt Sisler do for his first race win in Max V? Does he have anything? He'll take it low. Lehman defends low. The gap continues to close, but it's not closing fast enough. Lehman keeps it out of the wall, snakes it down below the apron, and it'll be James Lehman breaking the twofer streak. Finally, Lehman is back to victory lane for the second time in Max V.
What a run from Matt Sisler there at the end. Started 12th, moved up 10 positions. Definitely can't count out Justin Michael coming from 24th to 4th, up 20 spots.
Yeah, Michael will be upset that he didn't win this race, but it was a hell of a drive for him. And like you said, Sisler, I believe, was one of those drivers that was off sequence there. Kept himself on the lead lap despite pitting much later, had the much fresher tires to make that run. Wow, that was an incredible run for him. As advertised, Max V, always the thrillers here on Thursday night at Homestead-Miami Speedway for the second season in a row. The late race drama delivers again. Scott Patton slipped all the way down to 15th there with the damage on the front end to his truck. A couple other heavy hitters down there with him. Some great top 10 runs, including Billy Baumgartner in 9th. We'll get the full finishing rundown here in a sec. But some long-awaited, long overdue victory burnouts here for Lehman. It was a close race. It was a dramatic race, but James Lehman, only didn't lead a handful of the laps here tonight. This was his race. And finally, he's going to come away with the trophy to prove it.
That is by far one of the most satisfying ways to win.
I'm surprised he stopped where he did. I figured he'd drift that baby all the way around the track.
We get some reverse donuts tonight, Tommy.
Little moonwalking under the moonlight. We'll see where he hits this truck at. He's got to try and pass post-race tech. I mean, I can't believe the motor hasn't gone yet.
He's definitely not worried about tire wear anymore, that's for sure.
No. Bump all that. He's just trying to make sure Scott Patton has good shots. There goes the motor. And he's got his trophy coin as well. Let's go ahead and give you the full finishing rundown here after 100 thrilling laps here tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Will the results work here tonight? Not so far, and I don't know why that is. That literally doesn't make any sense. There we go. Still doesn't make any sense, but it works at least. That is all that matters. James Lehman with the win. Matt Sisseler in a career-best second-place finish here tonight. Fantastic run for him. And it is another third-place finish for Dakota Floyd and a great follow-up to last week in Las Vegas. We'll talk to these three gentlemen momentarily. Dustin Michael, like you said, hard charger here tonight. Nothing to hang your hat about, but Michael wanted the dub here tonight. He'll have to settle for fourth. Heath Smith will finish in fifth. Riley Tilton in sixth. Christopher Howell in seventh. Greg Mull, Charlie Widener, Billy Baumgartner. Officially will be credited with a 10th-place finish here tonight. Back into the top 10 for the first time since Daytona. Matthew Montenbolt in 11th. It's Mike Milfelt, Jack Watts, Matt Rodolasso, and Scott Patton way down there in P15. To 16th for Mark Jackson, Brandon Groover in 17th, Rob Haynes in 18th, Matt Burkhart, and Brad Slagle, your top 20. 21st for Wally Turheimer, Kerry Cleaver, 22nd, Chris Sargent, Trent Drum, and Zachary Groover, your top 25. Johnny Hamby all the way down to 26, Rod Mitten in 27th, Bill Paradise in 28th, Michael Van, Kyle Kabash. Rounds out the top 30, then DNFs from here on out. It is Jordan Neese, Will Kirk, Michael Whitlock, and Connell Bolton. The rest of tonight's finishing order. We'll go ahead and kick the interview train off here with podium finisher last week, podium finisher here tonight. Another fantastic run for Dakota Floyd here in truck number 57. Welcome back to the booth, partner, and congrats on another strong run here this evening.
Yeah, thanks, guys. I didn't qualify as well as I'd like to, but I found the long run. I found what I needed to do, and I was really good at the end of those runs. And each time I got to James, it was just inopportune yellow. It saved him both times. I was going to try to get to him on that last one. Had a lap fresher tire, but he did a really good job keeping the truck clean. He ran a great race, so I'm certainly happy with third, for sure.
I was going to say, you had some fantastic long-run pace here tonight. Caught Lehman. He pulls the undercut on you. Was it always the plan to try and go long over him, or was the plan to get in front of him before he had any chance to make a move?
I think I was going to overcut him regardless. I was pretty close. When he pit, I had just barely over a lap of fuel, so I was like, okay, I can guarantee myself an extra lap here. And I was going to try to play that into my favor, but unfortunately that caution came out and kind of wiped that away.
Joshua, what you got?
Yeah, congrats on the third again. Looking at where you are in the points, you're the first truck as of last week outside of the cut line. At this point in the season, are you looking for the good finishes to make up points, or are you just looking to finally get yourself a step higher on that podium?
I mean, a win would be fantastic. I definitely think I can pull it off. But yeah, I think if we just keep pulling consistent finishes like this, then I think the points will just come to me, and we'll get in there one way or the other. But a win would definitely make it a lot easier.
2-podium streak, always nice to be riding along with a couple of bronzes. But like Joshua said, I imagine we'll get some silvers and a gold here sooner rather than later if you've got the long run pace at the other tracks that we keep going to. So fantastic stuff here tonight. Congrats on another podium. Let's get some shout-outs for you once again.
Yeah, shout out to the league. It was a fantastic race tonight. We had really long green flag runs here, and everybody I raced me super clean. There was a lot of give and take there, so I really appreciate those guys up front. It was one of the best races I've run in the past few months, so shout out to the field for sure. Shout out to the admins of the league, and the turnout for the trucks is amazing. I love coming back here to seeing full fields of really competitive drivers. And shout out to you guys in the broadcast booth. I've gone back and watched those past few races, and you guys do a phenomenal job up here. So, and thank you to everybody that watches. Without you guys, we don't have a show to put on.
And it definitely was a show here tonight. Great stuff once again. Congrats on another podium, and we'll hopefully talk to you next week at Martinsville.
Absolutely. Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful night.
And I laugh because not that we don't think we'll see Dakota Floyd back up here next week at Martinsville, but he's got a good shot as anybody because that race is always an absolute disaster. Well, sometimes the big story of the night is the winner, and sometimes it is some of the other drivers in the field. And Matt Sisler is the story here tonight. I mean, a fantastic drive through this field late on fresher tires and coming oh so close to notching victory for the first time in Max V. But we'll settle for a second here tonight. How are we feeling from the middle step here this evening?
Not bad. Like either A, I needed 5 more laps and James was mine, or if I could have gotten Dakota a little quicker, I might have got him.
Well, I mean, we were watching more Dakota than anybody. We saw your pass on, I believe it was Heath Smith there late in the going, but I mean, you know, it was half a second up to Floyd, and Floyd was catching Justin Michael to a couple tenths, and Michael had Lehman to a couple tenths, and then all of a sudden it wasn't, I don't think, 2 laps, and it was a 4-truck conga line at the front of this field. I mean, to come up on those top 3 so quick with so few laps up on the board, I mean, that has to be a pretty intimidating task in itself.
Oh, yeah, I mean, knowing I haven't raced with Dakota a lot, but I raced last season with Justin and James, and I know for a fact they're weapons, and not the bad kind. They're monsters at these type of stuff. They're really good at playing defense and doing their tires and everything, and I wasn't really thinking about tire advantage until I got to Dakota, and then he kind of fought me to a stalemate for a little bit, and when I finally cleared him, I thought, did I burn my stuff up? Because I know Justin, and I'm like, am I going to have a real problem? And then he almost let me go, and I went, wait a minute, am I actually going to have a chance at this? Just like I said, I think I ran out of time. I needed another lap or 2, or if I could have gotten Dakota a little quicker, we might have been putting our 3 birdies Tundra in victory lane. But definitely we'll settle for a second place when it looked at a time like we were going to struggle to be in the top 20.
Joshua, what you got?
Man, congrats on the podium here. You mentioned a lot of ifs, but as we move to the first short track of the season next week, how many of those ifs become even bigger with it being Martinsville?
I mean, the big thing of that is if you can keep the nose on it, right? Like, you don't always have to do that. Look at what Dale Jr. did that one year where he was missing like the whole left or right front of his car and he finished like in the top 5. But Martinsville's just avoiding the chaos. It's a little easier to do, I think, to avoid chaos there than Bristol, just because Bristol is so much like high speed off the corner, and Martinsville you're coming out pretty slow comparative. But Martinsville, it's just survive the chaos and see what happens and hope you're on the in a way similar to Homestead. Hope you're on the right tire strategy at the right time, because that can play a big difference, even though at Martinsville there's not a whole lot of room to go.
On many nights we've seen this Toyota Tundra wadded up through no fault of your own. You've been in the chat quite early with us on numerous occasions here, but we know you have the speed to contend in the top 10, in the top 5 tonight, your second career podium with Max V. I mean, getting some good juju going here early in the season, and has got to be a little bit of a weight lifted off your shoulders here tonight.
For sure. I mean, last week was Las Vegas, and then that's one of my favorite tracks with the top 5. And I thought, well, I'm not sure how it could get any better. And then, coming into Homestead, I wasn't feeling great all day. I'd had a long day at work, so it was like, well, I'll get in here and see what happens. And I even told Dakota and Dakota and James, like, they're gonna be surprised when they find out, like, my run long strategy was basically just, I'm gonna run this thing as far as I can, and then I might be done, because if a caution doesn't come out, I have no shot. And then the caution came out, and I had less than a lap of fuel. Immediately, my hand hit the clutch button. I'm like, just save. I need the pits open now. It's so unbelievable. We got it. Sometimes it's it's luck, and we had the luck, and then on fresher tires, we had like an 8, anywhere from like 5 to 8 lap advantage, and we made it stand up.
I was gonna say luck goes both ways. Excuse me. And when it's good
fine.
luck, you still have to execute, and you certainly did that here tonight. Congrats on a career best finish with Max V. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out?
I mean, obviously, my sponsor, Three Birdies Golf Company, they're a great group over there, John and everybody, like, for taking a chance on me. I know, like, we're family, but, like, it still takes a lot to put, a sponsorship on somebody's truck, car, whatever, and it's been awesome to rep them. Celsius for the energy that needs for racing. Accelerate Pro Talent Solutions. Lil Hooper Designs, the guy who does my trucks, goes to UNOH. Got to shout them out too. They've been a pretty good partner as well. And of course, everybody at Max V. James. James and everybody at Max V who puts this on, even if James did beat me tonight. He puts on a great league. They all do. Peace, Love, and Paws Rescue as well. Can't forget them. And you guys for doing the awesome broadcast. You guys work your butts off, so it's always a pleasure to go back and watch. More so when I have a good finish. The last 2 weeks I've been able to really go back and watch and enjoy. So hopefully we can keep that momentum going through Martinsville.
Well, yeah, hopefully the front stays on the truck and we could do this again next week. We'll try and make it a regular thing here. But congrats on the podium, and we'll hopefully talk to you again soon.
All right, sounds good. You guys have a good one.
Not to, discount anything that this gentleman did here tonight. It's James Lehman. Finally as a race winner, again for the second time here on Max V. He's been racking up the wins a little bit more and a little bit more. As 2024 went along, we got him up here last Friday night as a winner at Bristol Dirt in the Jumpy Truck Series. But James, here in the NASCAR truck, it has been a case of so fast for so long and no golds to show for it. And tonight, that trend is over.
Yes, sir. It feels great to finally not get silver and have some gold, That's for sure.
I mean, this was shaping up to be one of those typical nights where you lead the most laps. The long run pace starts to fade away just a little bit, even with the helping hand with the caution there. But all of a sudden, late in this run, you start putting the defensive moves on Justin. He starts to fade backwards. Dakota can't do anything. Matt Sisler, even on the lot, fresher tires, still couldn't find a way around you. I mean, this truck was underneath of you here tonight all night, and it was an impressive run up front for how close it was there at the end.
Oh yeah, for sure. I wasn't trying to push the truck, as hard as I would normally do it. I wasn't trying to burn my stuff up throughout the whole race, and especially there on that last run. I was really debating on taking that last pit stop where Matt did, because I honestly thought that was going to be the winning strategy. Because of I think if more people did it, I think there'd probably be a different winner for sure tonight. But I was definitely impressed by Matt, because to come up to 30 people on the surf, come up through at least 30 plus drivers and then finish second is impressive alone.
Joshua, what you got for our race winner?
Congrats on the win, as always. You had mentioned that last caution and possibly pitting. How much of a difference does it make to have just raw speed on track versus maybe being a little bit off pace but jumping on the strategy just right?
It can mean a difference of almost a second on your lap times, because we only had about 7 to 8 laps on those tires. He could still run a half a second faster than us, per lap. So that's mainly where you gain time, and just you got to be smart about your strategies, because especially on a track like this, you're going from running a high 32 to a low 35. You're looking at almost a 2.5 second difference in time between, from the start of your run to the end of your fuel run. So you definitely got to be careful on the strategy you make, because if you make the wrong one, you won't finish good. That's for sure.
Homestead is a grueling track here tonight, and you have very well tamed it. 4 races, 4 different winners to start the season, but I mean, you weren't too far out of the picture in any one of those races. I think a 7th and 2 seconds before your win here tonight. You'll enter and leave as the points leader after taking the stage as well. I mean, what a night here at Homestead, and to take your second Max V win as well. Congrats to you. I'm sure the party will be on here in a minute, but before we let you go, let's get some shout-outs going.
Thank you to you guys at Turn 200. You guys always do an amazing job broadcasting. Love watching the races the next day. Thank you to everybody at Max V that showed up and put on a good race. It's probably one of the best races we've had all season, in my opinion. And looking forward to Martinsville next week. So, I'm just hoping we don't repeat what happened last year, and we have a good race. So let's just cross our fingers, and we'll see you guys eating some hot dogs, hopefully.
Absolutely. Great race here tonight. Positive energy heading into Martinsville next week, and if it doesn't go well, then we can all just look back to here tonight with a fantastic race like you mentioned. So go celebrate, go party hard. We'll hopefully talk to you again at the hot dog track.
All right, see you then.
Long awaited, long overdue, James Lehman taking his second career victory here with Max V after notching a win at Richmond early last season. He's taken a Truck 200 victory in the middle there as well. A couple other one-off victories here on the channel, but James, I mean, we don't talk about it enough. He's one of the Swiss Army men of Turn 200. And he can get in just about any car and win. Sports cars, trucks on the road course, trucks on the oval. He's a great super speedway racer. He just proves it here tonight. You saw how difficult it was. You don't need to have laps around Homestead-Miami Speedway to see how difficult it was for a lot of these drivers here tonight.
Yeah, definitely. We saw a lot of people having the air taken off their nose and going up straight into the wall, and others getting air off the spoiler and getting free and coming down the track. Definitely goes to show how important aero is, and even watching Scott Patton getting a little bit of damage as he was getting on the pit road, drop all the way back to 15th. It really just proves how good some of these drivers are to keep the truck as clean as they do while racing in such close quarters. And it's always a treat to watch guys who really know what they're doing just lay it all out on the track and prove what they're made of.
Anything else to close up shop here tonight for the folks out in Turn 200 land?
Thanks as always to you, Tommy, for making it happen and having me up here. It's always a blast watching such skilled drivers who I've raced against and lost to dramatically. But always appreciative of everything that you do here at Turn 200.
I mean, this is classic Max V. 4 races that maybe we tent-poled them a little bit with excitement towards the front of the race. And just, I mean, 4 of the most exciting finishes we've had here on the channel this year, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4 right in a row here. Max V Thursday nights. It's must-see TV every week. I'm glad you're a part of it here in 2025 seasons 1 and 2. Don't forget we've got a second season coming up here after the first 20 weeks are over as well. Have a little break in the summer, but definitely more of this as 2025 rolls along. What a night here tonight at Homestead-Miami Speedway. Glad everybody could be a part of it. Thank you to Bailey Marie. Thank you to John Kay. Thank you to Marilyn Beck. Thank you to Robin Motichek, Adrian Marquez, Urked, cheering on Riley Tilton, Lance Durham, cheering on Chris Surgeon, Sarah, as always, cheering on Riley Tilton, and Shelly Mahal, cheering on Greg Mull, Michelle Kirk, if I didn't say her already, and Matt Schlosser hopping in there late as well for the conclusion of this one here tonight. Thanks to everybody that was hanging out with us. More racing action coming up tomorrow night. It is the Turn 200 debut of Firebird Motorsports Park for the Special Stage Pro Truck Series. 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for 2 rounds from Firebird, the short track of jumpy truck courses. Very excited for that one. Monday night, it is the penultimate race for Truck 200. It is at Joshua Motichek's VTS Stomping Grounds, Talladega. It'll be the Truck 200 iteration of the Layton River Ellison Memorial, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. Tuesday night, the Venom Truck Series. Oh boy, where is Venom next week? Oh, they're at Nashville Super Speedway. How could I forget? We're going to the King's Court next Tuesday night, 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time for that one. And Dread It, Run From It, Martinsville arrives all the same next Thursday night at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Yeehaw. That will be an interesting one, that's for sure. But it will certainly happen whether you want it to or not. Thank you to everybody with the Max V admin team. Thank you to CNC Home Designs right here in Central Florida. If you need a home built, whether it is just a quaint farmhouse or the modern home of your dreams, hit up Carrie Cleaver and Deb, and they will get you sorted with exactly what you're looking for. Thank you to them for their continued support of the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series. And thank you to Joshua Motichek as well for being on the call for another banger here tonight. Until we meet again here from Homestead-Miami Speedway, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long, and congratulations for a long-awaited and long-overdue victory for James Lehman here in round number 4 of 2025. Have a good night, everybody. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.